Hello everybody, my name is RedBlockss and welcome back to another episode of Redstone with Red, which man, feels like a year ago that I uploaded the last episode of this series, but in terms of real lifetime wise, it has been 2 weeks, which actually, in terms of my channel length wise, it probably actually has been a year, so I'm really sorry for not uploading a Redstone with Red video in pretty much like a year, so, I mean, you guys probably already know why the reason of that is, so I'm not gonna go into details, but again, I'm really sorry because that is. Also, welcome to the final video of 2020. Man, this year has been just crazy because I mean I know in terms of other thing wise it hasn't been the best year, but this is the year that we started, and the absolute support on the channel has been so insane. That is quite scary because we got to 100 subscribers with only 8 videos. I mean, like, if that isn't mind-boggling, I truly don't know what is. So I'm really thankful to all of you guys for supporting the channel as much as you have over the course of the 4 months, I believe. So yeah, I just want to give you guys a big thank you because like this is some really big support. I know, like, I'm literally saying anything that another YouTuber would say, but growing on the platform is really hard, and as much as we have grown, I'm really appreciative. So thanks to all of you guys for supporting the channel as much as you have. Now, the key question that you guys might have of today's video, which probably is the most important one: how are we wrapping up 2020? Now, to answer that question, in this video, the main theme of it is going to be planning. So, over the course of the series, which is 13 videos, it's absolutely mad, by the way, remind you, because I literally remember planning this series even before I had a YouTube channel, and now we are already 13 videos into it, so yeah, I don't want to talk about it. It's kind of scary, to be honest with you. But over the course of the 13 videos, I have pretty much taught you guys every single basic element of Redstone there possibly could be, and including one more tip. So, I mean, you guys have pretty much all of it. But the thing that I still haven't taught you guys is how to piece it together, because even if you guys know all of the Redstone components that you need to know, you guys do not know how to basically just piece it together. I mean, over the course of the series, as I said, I have given you guys some tips and tricks how to do that, but I never made a complete tutorial as to how to do that. So in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make a redstone contraption from start to finish with all of the steps included. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be covering every single redstone contraption made to date, because that would take... I don't even know if I could make that video, because it's probably infinite, and infinite ways are made pretty much every single day. So I'm basically just gonna take an example for myself, and you guys can pretty much follow those steps. I mean, obviously they're not gonna be identical, but you guys can take those steps and follow them in the order that you see. And even if the build is different, you guys are probably gonna end up with a really lovely looking redstone contraption. So as per usual, there's gonna be timestamp down in the description for you guys to check out if you guys want to check out any specific tip as to how to piece a redstone contraption together. And also, as per always, there's also going to be a series playlist down in the description if you guys want to check out any specific episode of the series and our journey to here. With all of that being said, now let's jump into the final video of this amazing year. Let's do this. Alright, so just before we get started, I want to mention the fact that in this video, if I sound a little bit more weird, it's not due to the fact that I'm ill or sick or anything like that. Believe it or not, I actually got myself another microphone. Now, not to diss on any other microphone that I had before this, but this microphone is really good. Good to the point where my voice is the one that actually sounds weird. So basically, meaning that the mic actually catches every single thing that I say. So meaning that if I sound a little bit weird, my voice also comes out a little bit weird. So I'm pretty sure you guys probably already noticed that, and the audio quality at the end of the day is really good, and I enjoy it quite myself. But I just thought that, you know what, you guys might be a little bit more curious, so there you go. But anyways, with all of that out of the way, now let's get into our first tip, which looks like a lot more like this. Now, the reason why this is a lot more empty is because I actually did mention this with my how to build video, so if you guys want to check that out, go ahead. But the basic thing that I mentioned was, if you want to start up with anything big, you need to start up with nothing. At least you have to. Now, the reason I say that is because the tip is gonna be, before you start up any type of redstone project, make sure you know what you're doing, how you're doing, and why you are doing that. But for this fact, we are only going to be taking into consideration why and what you are going to be doing. Because at the end of the day, like, even if you just start up random stuff, I mean, sure, you might have fun. At the end of the project, you're basically just going to burn out, because you're not going for any type of goal. And if you don't have any type of goal, what are you even doing that for? Now, I believe me, don't take this harshly. I'm trying to be as neutral as I can. But starting up a restaurant project with nothing in mind really gets boring after a while. So in survival, most likely than not, you already have a goal in mind. So I don't think I really need to mention that for that case. But if you're in just creative, just make sure before you start anything that you know what exactly you are doing. Now, for this video, I'm actually going to be taking an example myself. I'm actually going to be taking it through the entire video, following all the steps that I show you guys, right? So in today's video, the build that I'm going to be taking into example is me going into a secret base, just by flicking a button or something like that. Then that takes me down, and there's going to be a timed 3x3 piston door, which opens up in front of me as soon as I land, and then after I go through it, it is going to turn off. Now that's going to be the goal of this video, and yeah, that was pretty much the first tip, and the basic summarization is, before you do anything, just know what you're doing. Anyways, now let's move on to the actual tips. Alright, so our next tip is actually a little bit of a continuation from the last one. So in this tip, basically the thing that we're going to be doing is basically just visualizing as to what the thing that we're going to be doing and how we are going to be doing it. So here I have myself what is called a skeleton. It is actually not completely necessary to do this in this step, but if you can, I highly recommend this, and this is actually going to make an appearance back like in a future step. But if you can already do it, that is great. But again, as I already said, if you can't come up with it, the only thing that I'm saying that you should do in this step is basically just think about what you're building and just think about how the thing is gonna work. Now let's take an example for my build, right? So this weird looking setup, I'm gonna explain as to how this is gonna work. Now in my example, the thing that is gonna be the most important there is gonna be to have a me drop down, right? So that is gonna be one of the most complicated parts of that thing, and here I have myself one of those things. So here I have myself a mechanism for a block swapper, or I should say a block remover, if you will. So basically it allows me to go down. Now I'm just going to do a brief explanation as to how this works. So if it was extended, the thing that would happen is, first of all, this would be extended, this would extend, and this will extend. So that's completely the extension. But in terms of retraction, we retract that, we retract that. As you can see, this block is actually not retractable, because as I already again said throughout the series, a sticky piston only attached to a block if the sticky piston is the block being extended. Which here, this was one that was being retracted, meaning that this did not extend, meaning that this block didn't stick to this block. But if you want to retract this block, which by the way we want to, because if I don't do that, basically nothing's gonna happen from the player's POV, because the only thing that's gonna happen is they're gonna hear some noise, but this block is not gonna go away. To do that, what I've done is brought in an external piston, which basically just retracts the whole thing after all of this part is done. And when it comes to extension, this pops in, this pops out, and this extends the whole thing over. Now, this is the similar type of thing that you should do before building a redstone contraption. Not quite visualization, we're gonna get to that in a little bit, but if you can, that's gonna be great. I simply did it for the purpose of demonstration, but if you can already do it, it is absolutely great. Now, this was actually gonna... Sorry for that weird cut. I was just rambling on for a little bit of a while, so I just had to cut myself off. Anyway, since I was talking about something, I thought that I'll just pop back in and explain to you guys what I was talking about. So the thing that I'll show you guys over here is actually pretty much the next step after the thing that I just said. So meaning that if after you guys have every single thing done in your brain as to, I'm gonna do this, that's gonna connect to that, and all that good stuff. After that, you just basically want to at least put down a basic layup in terms of pistons or any other redstone components. After doing that, it's gonna make your head a lot more clearer, so that you guys can at least figure out how the timing works and all that stuff. As I shown to you guys over here, the timing for this thing is actually quite complicated, because I doubt I could go into this with like basically no vision. So it is really helpful to get yourself a skeleton of a redstone contraptions built up. Now, for me, I really can't explain to you guys like another time as to how this one worked, because I already showed you guys. But the thing that I'm gonna show you guys is how this is gonna be important. So as I already said, the extension works something like this and all that good stuff. But after it all retracts, it's gonna come down here, and after all of that has happened, basically that's gonna attach a lot of delay into this piston door over here, which is gonna extend right after that. And it's also going to be connected into a pulse extender, which is also going to be connected into that. So meaning that after a long while, it is going to shut off. Now, I'm saying all of that and not building up all of that is because, yeah, I mean, if I just build it up, it was gonna, just be the build itself. So I just basically am here planning it all out as to how it's all gonna work. And after that, we are gonna move into the next step, where we actually start placing in the redstone dust. So see you guys on the other side. Alright, so the next step is actually going to be just doing the redstone contraption bit by bit. Now, as you can see over here, I actually have done the complete redstone contraptions in its entirety. Now, the reason why I've done that is, first of all, if I were to do this on camera, it would have taken an absolute eternity to finish, and I probably wouldn't even finish it. And second of all, this is embarrassing to say, but I actually had a little bit of a struggle as to building this thing, because, yeah, it was just fiddling with my head a little bit of a while, so it took me a little bit of a while to develop the whole thing, but finally I got here. And as you can imagine, if I did this on camera, this probably wouldn't even exist. So sorry about that, but since I actually have color coded every single thing, I can actually explain to you how each and every part works separately. So that's nice, right? And over here is a thing which, okay, so I have to do a little bit of explanation over here. So here I have each and every color labeled with a sign. Now, you see, if I'm being completely honest, if I was in survival myself, I would definitely not do this, because it's just a little bit of a hustle, and it's just a brag, okay? Yeah, like, if you can keep all of the colors and their uses in your head, that is pretty much every single thing that you need to know. But if you actually have all the resources in survival, and if you're bothered enough to do this in creative, I would highly also recommend doing this. But also, just keeping them in your mind is also nice. But since I have every single thing in my head already, I'm just going to be explaining to you guys how the complete redstone contraption works, so that from there you guys can take an idea and make your redstone contraption bit by bit from there. Now, with all of that being said, let's just jump into this redstone contraption, because it's going to take a little bit of a while. So first of all, we have ourselves this button, and also I should mention that all over the redstone contraption, you're gonna see yellow wool. So that's not something special. It's basically just a redstone traveling line, so which takes the redstone contraption's power from one place to another. There's a little bit of yellow woolage over all of the place, but it's mostly other colors. So yeah, we're gonna focus on them a little bit more. So first of all, when we press this button, this yellow line gets powered, going into this light blue circuit. Now, in the light blue circuit, the first thing that we can see is this redstone torch over here. Now, the thing that this redstone torch does is basically just inverts the complete redstone contraption. So basically, meaning that when we press this thing, rather than it just being shut on our face, because when you power a piston, it extends rather than retracting, it's just gonna shut down our face if we didn't have that. So I just put it in so that it opens up in front of our faces, which we want. After that, the main part of this light blue circuit is this pulse extender. Now, I think I actually talked about pulse extenders in the series once, but if I didn't, it basically just takes the pulse of a redstone pulse, and it just extends it. Now, you might be wondering, why do we need a pulse extender? Now, you see, the reason why that is as you can see over here, we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but the slime circuit has a lot of delay, 16 ticks to be honest, and you see, the tick of a regular wooden button is 15 ticks. Now, this probably would not even work if it was 16 ticks, so that's why I had to pull in this pulse extender, so that it actually stays extended for a little bit of a while, so that it doesn't go boom boom. It gives us a little more time to move around, which is really nice. So yeah, that's the reason why that there is. Not that important, but I just thought that I would mention it. Anyways, now we are moving into the main part of the circuit. This is actually the thing that I actually showed you guys on camera in the last clip. This is the block swapper, as I'm going to call it. It's not necessarily a block swapper, but you get the idea, right? So first of all, this redstone torch's power goes into the whole thing. So here we can see that we have ourselves a basic, what do you call it, piston door mechanism. So basically meaning that the bottom one extends first, but retracts second, and the other one which gets extended, extends second, retracts first. Yeah, it's a common concept across piston door mechanics. So you guys should already remember that, because piston door saga was the most recent Redstone with Red video, at least on the tutorial side, right? So that thing happens. So basically that is gonna pull this block down by one block and this piston away, but the grass block is also gonna be staying there, as I mentioned in the previous clip. Now when that happens, we have ourselves the red circuit. Oh, by the way, this was the cyan circuit, if you couldn't tell. Goes into this one block of yellow wool. I mean, it really isn't doing something to us, so I had to put it as yellow. After that, that goes into the red circuit. So here we have ourselves 2 ticks of delay, which I don't think is completely necessary, but it's just there to make sure this thing works 100% of the time. Going into a redstone torch and a piston, which is being used here as a falling edge circuit. So this will only activate on its falling edge, so meaning that this will only activate when the grass block is here, and then this piston can pull it back. Now here we have ourselves a block which I haven't used in a redstone contraption pretty much like 2 years or something like that. Ever since I've learned the falling edge circuits, I have never used a redstone block since then. But here it's been a long while, but I had to use a redstone block. Now the reason why I actually used a redstone block is because if we had a observer over here, it would actually pulse, which we don't want. We just want it to retract the block, not double extend it. So we have ourselves a redstone block so that it doesn't do the double thing, right? So that's a really nice thing. It's been a while since I've done it, and that's the reason why you should learn each and every mechanic. Anyways, with all of that being said, this grass block is out of the way, which goes into this line circuit. This line circuit is basically just a lot of repeaters, and the reason why that is because we have ourselves this piston door over here, right? And we only wanted to open after we have gone through all of this. So we have ourselves 16 ticks of delay, right? So after we fall down, we will have ourselves a little bit of time to just see what's happening, and then it will open. And it will also stay open for 16 ticks as well, giving us enough time to just walk through it. Yeah, that was pretty much all the lime circuit does. After that, that goes into some yellow wool again, powering this orange circuit. This orange circuit is basically the upper half of this 3x3 piston door, basically just connecting all of the pistons up. Nothing quite special. But this yellow wool takes it down to this circuit over here, this magenta one, which is basically the double piston extender for the 3x3 piston door. And with all of that, we have ourselves a complete machine. Hopefully all that makes sense. I mean, whenever I explain something, it really does not make sense. So hopefully it did. But if I have powered the thing, you can see every single thing coming into action. You can see that opens, and that stays extended for a long while. Then it retracts. Now let's give you a player's POV. So I'm standing on this block. Oh, by the way, just to give you guys a reminder, the way that I have laid out the input, you do not have to do that in the slightest. I mean, I just took like a basic, like, you know, flush with the floor with a button like sticking out. That was the one that I went with. You know, it seems a little bit more hidden. It's all nice, but you can definitely go with another input. Anyways, since I'm standing on here, I'm gonna press this button. It's gonna take me down, and here, as you can see over here, as I fall down, I looked around for a little bit while, and then I went through the door and it shut down behind me. It is a really, really nice circuit, and don't take the circuit for itself as an example. Take the thing that I actually had to do each and every one of them at a time. Hence why we have ourselves the color coding mechanism, right? So the thing that I'm saying here is do the redstone contraption, keep each and every mechanic that I've shown you across the series in your head, and then put them two together one bit at a time. Don't go like I'm gonna do this red bit, the yellow bit, the cyan bit all at once. No, take it one at a time and do it according to your planning that you did in the previous step. But that's not gonna do it for this one, but because we're gonna do the outro at a different place. So let's go there. Okay, so I'm really sorry for throughout the video me being really rambly and struggling with words. I mean, the first part that you saw was recorded at midnight, and the most recent part that you saw was recorded pretty early on in the morning, so you can pretty much imagine why that was the case, but hopefully you guys were able to bear through it. Anyways, with all of that being said, that is gonna do it for today's episode of Redstone with Red and the year of 2020. As I've said, it's been a really mad year, both in terms of bad things and good things happening, but we managed to pull through. And next year is gonna be 2021. I saw that somewhere and I really love it. 2020 with a WON at the end. So hopefully that is the case, and I wish you all of you guys a pre-happy new year. But with all of that being said, that's going to do it for today's episode of Redstone with Red, and as I've already said, the year of 2020. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you hit the like button, and if you guys want to check out more videos maybe, and more of this series, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. But with all of that being said, guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!